I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They all run into one. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Newest Star. Newest Star. Welcome everybody. Today we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to go basic and then we're going to go wide and advanced like we always do. My name is Celeste, also known as Joanna, and we talk about consciousness. We talk about New Earth Star energies, anchoring our new divine ascension experiences to New Earth Star, to continue the spiritual growth of who we are as divine beings, always on a spiritual journey, always expanding and ascending into new energies and new ideas and new concepts and new beginnings and new learnings and new everything, new everything. I've been given a few kind of grander, wider visions of where we're going, what we're setting up, how we're all kind of coming together with this, putting church and state to the side for a minute as best we can and really centering into this New Earth Star and understanding alchemy, understanding the 3 E's of ascension, understanding the 3 A's of alchemy, and understanding your soul's blueprint, why you're here, what you exist within, what's going on within you, and then the grander, who are we? What do we all exist within? And what's all going within one of us. And it really matters. It really matters because it will assist us in creating all new systems. It will inspire us. It will engage us and will encourage us into creating what we've never created before. And this is why many of you are here. This is why you've been attracted to this channel. I mean, putting all that stuff aside, you're here for the most divine journey of your soul's progression. It's just that we've been caught up in things and we've been caught up in the compartmentalization of beliefs and ideals that are not necessarily evolutionary anymore. They were fine for where they were at. We've learned a lot of lessons, but it's not going to progress us in the arenas that we need to, being bathed in the light that we're being bathed in, which means the omnipresent substrates are changing. Everything that Gaia sits within is changing. Therefore, we must level up. We must allow ourselves to become higher vibrational beings and allow all of those things to be set aside and purged and released as we're moving into these new suits of who we are, the divine suits. They are real things. The divine suit is a real thing. It is the light body that we're moving into. So every time that you release and purge those darker energies, whether it's from the chakras, whether it's from your body, or whether it's from your fields, those are all darker, dense energies that exist everywhere in your multidimensionality. You as a being is a multidimensional being, and that includes your fields of energy, and includes your fields of ideas, it includes your fields of the mental, the causal, the experiential fields. And then it also includes your chakras and all of the little touch points within your body, and there's thousands of them that carry energy and that carry chakra points that also combine within your aura, and they create the ideals of your Merkaba, which is your master innate encoding of your God code. Everybody has a God code. And that every time that God code is activated, sometimes they'll go and activate the chakras, and then it'll activate light, and it'll activate a purging, it'll activate a release, it'll activate an upgrade in one of your bodily systems or your multidimensional systems, or it might activate an enhancement in the brain. So all of these things are very true and real things for ascension. You must be enhanced every now and then in your cycle of ascension. That's why you're gifted higher vibrational teams, usually in the 7th dimension and above, that are responsible for the enhancements of your light body, the enhancements of your physical body. What is it that you need in this physical experience to move through the themes and the lessons? That's why we're here. We are here to become progressive souls. We are here to understand the idea of separation. What did we learn from separation, and how can we recombine ourselves as the fragments of source back to source, recombination, back to the higher versions of source, so that we can then recreate in a higher version, in higher substrates of higher dimension and vibration, because that's what a dimensional vibration is. It's vibrational harmony, information, and vibration. So we need to raise our frequency using what has been, but getting off the karmic wheel and realigning to a center, neutralizing all that is so that we can re-intend it and recode it. Neutralization is very important. You cannot be moving into alchemy without knowing how to neutralize. And neutralizing is just resetting all of your multidimensional systems so that you're not going to spark off and keep recreating karmic titles. You want to re-center yourself, ground from this divine sacred heart space, and be mindful in your co-creations of your intention, your thought, your word, and your deed, because this is your reignition center. This is where you put the map back on, you put the GPS back in, and you say, no, I'm going to code it like this. This is your GPS station. This is your God positioning station. You're going to position yourself back to God before you start to recreate intentions and before you start just creating from old patterns and wounding, because we don't want that. We want to recreate and recode the patterns from wounding. And that's what 3D church and state was. It's wounding. It was created in wounding. We can't have perfectly balanced systems when all of the systems were made up of 98.9% men, and they were run and managed and dealt with and handled and all of these things by divine masculine, and they were wounded at the time. That's not a balanced system in any way. We're getting rid of I think the team's channeled this morning, we're getting rid of autocratic systems, and even though we might think it's democratic as best as it can be, it's not. It really isn't. I mean, everything within our systems is corrupt. There's no room for it anymore, and it must change. That's being put on hold and it's being put on suspension. And Source Creator, the Source Creator, all of the angels and all of the legions are having their hands on everything that is corrupt at this point in time, because we are going forward with the Father's plan. There was a few people within the collective that wanted to, that refused to return the wealth transfer, which they were told 2 years ago, they were told to surrender. They were told to surrender their post. They were told to surrender the wealth transfer, and they were told and they were ordered to surrender back to the Divine Father, for the Divine Father's plan, for the new leaders of New Earth Star, like myself and many others, that will be stepping up to encourage and to instigate and inspire New Earth systems, which are aligning with the Divine Heavenly Plan. That's how we evolve, is through light intelligence. And through light intelligence, we're learning how to understand who we are right from the beginning of time again. We're creating a higher dimensional philosophy about what we exist within, what's really going on within us, and how we relate ourselves to a new world. Those substrates are changing because it's higher refined light, omnipresent light, and the divine light from the sun, and all that is coming within our cosmic friends and families that are assisting us every day in creating new light for humanity and what we need within our bodies, our physical, mental, emotional, biophysical experiences. The biosphere is changing, the substrates are changing, and now that we have new spiritual grids. And these spiritual grids are being updated at all times, especially now that the Father is putting a more progressive, aggressive plan to remove the energies that are refusing to come along in light, and that's fine. They have that free will, but they will not be protected by the Galactic Federation. They will not be offered any progressive soul incarnations in their bodies, not into the certain aspects of the universe where Galactic Federations and the Father's plan exist. Of course, there's lots of parts in the universe where the Father's plan is not, but the part of evolution for species and for life is done through the Father's plan, because the Father, I obviously knows, the Father is the creator, knows what's going on in all aspects of creation. And so your soul wanting to progress into these new arenas of, dimension of light. We want to have eternal life with the heavens. We want to be guided by the Father, because we don't know really what we're doing. If we weren't guided by the Father, we wouldn't have the ideas and the understandings of total, the law of one. What is the law of one? How do we understand ourselves as God? How do we know ourselves as godly without going into the debasing church and state dogmatization of, shaming us and guilting us into belief systems? And that's not how you do it. That's not how a true father behaves, maybe abusive fathers, but that's not how the Father behaves. It is by coaching gently and honorably and doing the best you can from where you're at. And every day, regardless of where your outer environment looks, just to get up and create from where you're at with what you have, and just keep doing that, because every day, as we're being shown, there's densities and there's things being moved every day. So how it might feel one day, and it might just feel impossible to move about in the dreams that you have and the ideas that you have, and why setting goals is okay, but don't stay so stuck with it that you're getting yourself, depressed and in the box. Just have it very light and knowing, because we're going to talk about that today, is the greater flow of Source Creator, and returning back to more of a natural balance of understanding what natural order is. Natural balance is natural, the natural state of laws are, and there's just returning back to our original universal self, and we can really let go of a lot of the stress and the anxiety that we've got to figure things out. We really don't. Source is with us, our guides are with us, and we're meant to have a lot of fun from here on out. And we're going to create a lot higher vibrational systems. We're going to create higher dimensional experiences when we just relax and know that the flow of God and the flow of our teams are always working with us. If we're so condensed and we're so, stuck within these rigidities of having to work things out and having to put things in certain systems and boxes of systems to fix it out, to fix it and understand it, compartmentalize life, we can't do that. You can't compartmentalize life. Maybe when you're on a production line of a vehicle and putting that together, you can compartmentalize, absolutely. It's meant to be that way, but not life, not natural order life, where we're meant to create this beautiful, expansive system of Source Creator and really expand within the Source Creator of the inhale and the exhale and say, this is going to be new. This is my new creation. This is my new expression. And really come from that authentic space after you've recentered. That's why we do alchemy. So understanding the ascension process and the ascension cycle, which is what I teach. We teach all about higher consciousness, how to align to the 5D grids, how to align to your 5D vocation. Understanding that you always come within a soul's blueprint, which is your sacred trinity, which is the heavens and all the heavens that you work with, which mean all the dimensions and above, all dimensions and all the realms that you work with. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So you understand realms, you understand energy, you understand the universe you exist within and all of the universes around you. They're all kind of supporting these co-creational experiences and all based on vibration. So wherever you're going from here on out, everything is vibration. You attract your food by vibration, you attract your family vibration, you attract where you're going to live by vibration. Everything you attract is vibration. Everything you manifest is vibration. And so for you to manifest anything different, you must change the vibration within first. And that is, again, doing the daily introspection. That's doing the daily observation, which is the ascension pathwork. It's a pathwork that I talk about every day, every video. It's necessary. It's your check-in with spirit. It's your check-in with your higher self. That is the God self. And that God self says, okay, this is what we're going to work with today. And then you have those actions. What is it that I need to act on today? What's my highest intention for me to act on this today? So that you can be always engaged and always morphing with spirit. You're always calling in that spirit to harmonize with, because the problems that have been with humanity is the separation from the spirit. They've separated themselves from spirit because of the compartmentalization, because of the separations, because of the discriminations, because of such the variance and the dissonance of the divine feminine, divine masculine energies and the misunderstandings of much of it, because again, it was so imbalanced. It was very autocratic, very oligarchic. And we need to change it. It's not something we can stay in. It must change. And so we're understanding that anything that's held within the planet must align with the natural order, the grids of the consciousness that Gaia is. She's a consciousness body in and of herself. We wanted to start there first. Understanding that all in creation has a consciousness body and a blueprint, so that it understands itself within all of creation. There is always aspects of source, whether it's a planet or a species, or an aspect of life within nature or wildlife. These are all aspects of source, and they all have a design within themselves. It's a purpose, so nothing is superfluous. They might go along thinking it's superfluous, but that's also within the design itself, because some species want to know, I want to have the idea and the concept of superfluousness. So then you go into these ideas of superfluousness. Nothing means anything, you have those kind of ideas. But then there's also the grander knowing that you also wanted to have what's not superfluous. It always has meaning and purpose, so that you can come down to a higher point of evolution. Because unless you have that idealism that I belong here, there's a purpose for me here, there's an anchoring to me here, otherwise you're floating around and you're getting tangled up into all of the other potentials and abilities that are all floating around right now, because it's like dark matter. When things break up, there's dark matter floating all around, and it's easy to get caught up in other people's breaking mindsets, in these breaking systems of 3D. And we don't really want to create the regurgitation of 3D. You want to be higher and this is why I say always do your pathwork. This is why people cannot sway me. Because when I do my pathwork, no, this is who I am. I'm getting my information right from source. I've got the highest information. I've got the highest engagement with source. And that's my energy. That's where you're co-creating from the highest vibrational energy, and you're not getting weighed down by going here and because that person said this, and you're going there because that person says it. No, your highest alignment is source. That will always be your highest alignment. And nothing can sway you outside of that. And this is it, and it is your only anchor, because as you're anchoring to the grids every day in your own higher knowing, who are you, what is this, what's going on within you, that as your emulation point, that's the reality coming back to you. So that's more efficient manifestations in a true sense of self. Who are you? Thought, word, and deed as the spirit, soul, heart, mind, and body, which is what you want. You don't want a choppy manifestation to say, well, I was really angry there, and that's my angry manifestation. No, you want to be a full body, soul-infused being, and you're manifesting in this way because you are a creator God. You want to manifest as a creator God, as opposed to a spark of a being that's got a whole bunch of other people's ideals and beliefs and perspectives and attitudes, and then you've got to go and heal all those attitudes because they're not really yours. You're carrying around a lot that's not you. And that's why people go into a lot of energies where they're, let's get rid of that. That's why people go into a lot of energies of putting on masks and making themselves sway back and forth depending on energy and depending on environment. And sometimes we do that, and yes, it's required. But I wanted to say something too for the divine masculines, that it's okay for the divine masculines not to be so, now that they're paying attention to their healing, which is really wonderful. And it's nice to see divine masculines finally waking up and slowly, understanding that, okay, yeah, we've made some mistakes. Let's do some correction here. But it's okay for divine masculines to play that wanting to impress, and when I'm talking about relationships and things like this, it's okay for divine masculines to play that part of wanting to impress a divine feminine and wanting to impress those that they're in before to speak of. It's okay. That is really okay. It's an okay energy. We're not ever going to get away from, the divine masculines are here to court and to woo and to be the purveyors of new ideas and things like that, and really anchor the divine masculine energy of action, of power, of fire energy. And the divine feminines are here to support that and give ideas from the intuitive side. And they're supposed to work together with the fire and the water and the fire and the water and the fire and the water. And then all of the other alchemic energies around that as well. But the divine feminine sometimes does want to see that divine masculine, try to impress her, because divine feminines have truly been left out and ignored and basically killed and raped and put aside as if we don't matter. It's always going to be a part of our histories and our futures. Divine masculines, even in the Pleiadians, when we're in our higher dimensions, one of my Pleiadian soulmates will come to me one day, and my partner will have this beautiful afternoon planned for me, and we'll go to this beautiful part of nature that is very special to us. And we'll just go and we'll sit on the rock, and it overlooks a lake, and we just have this beautiful afternoon. But he's planned that for me, and it's very special that he goes out of his way to impress me. And he has flowers set up and things like this. And so these are things that are done, and the men do this, and it's okay. Women want men to have those moments of impression. You don't have to live from that energy, of course, and it would be too exhausting for a man to do that. But it's just natural for the divine masculine to have that alpha male energy, every now and then when it is important for him to impress her. And a woman wants that. I'm telling you right now, she does. She does want that. She wants to know that you went to effort to put together a dinner. She wants to know that you put effort in changing how you word things so that it's not so harsh. And she can tell that. A good woman will tell that, and she'll compliment. I'm very grateful for your effort and what you've been putting in, to show me that you care and to, have me a bit more feeling more comfortable in your environment and things like that. Because, women are very attentive to those types of things. Not all women, but most of us that are very intuitive and healed, we want those divine masculines to do those things. And it doesn't have to be every day, but we don't want you to get rid of it altogether because you're on this path of evolution and evolvement. You can be evolved and still want to have that divine masculine energy that wants to impress the woman that he wants to woo and court. Those things are very, very real, very okay. It's very sexy. It's very engaging. It lets her know that she's special in that kind of a way. She doesn't want to be completely just flattened, and have it be something that's monotone. There needs to be that romance and that delicacy and that, wants to show up, and show out a little bit, and that's once in a while the divine masculine can do that and really put a show on. It doesn't have to be, extraordinary. Just to do those simple little things that says, no, I'm going to impress her today. Those are things divine feminine really want to see because she has been so ignored. She has not been paid fairly. She has not been given the same opportunities. She has not been given the ground. She hasn't been given the stage. She hasn't been given the voice. So these things are very important to rebalance the divine masculine in knowing that he can do these things and feel very okay with it. We want the divine masculine to be kind of, have that beautiful have that beautiful essence of power and inner confidence. And you don't have to know it all the time. And she's not expecting you to. But she does love that part where, you can impress her every now and then and say, I did this just for you. And we like those things. We do really want those things. And we want those energies because it lets us know that we're still playing that elegant dance. It is still a dance. It's still a dance between divine masculine and feminine, and when to submit and when to, when to come forward with, sexy talk, and when to come forward with work talk, and when to come forward with just being there. This is still a partnership, and it's still a dance of our energies. And it will have the best success when you allow those energies to be natural order, which is what we want to talk about. We want to look at the higher evolutionary experience of the higher version and the higher energies of how to soften into these new experiences and the grander perspective of why church and state needs to heal. It's very, very abusive. It has been very abusive and imbalanced. And how it looks right now in the collective and what the collective really needs right now. And the collective needs a lot of compassion. The collective needs a lot of direction as to where are we going from here? How can we build these bridges from a very practical experience, from higher vibrational informations and higher vibrational wisdoms? And then how do we start bit by bit, little bit every day? and then allow the systems to slowly break themselves down. And as they're breaking down, we can start creating new systems of light. And what we need to start with is the infrastructure. And the infrastructure is, how do we get the monies back to the peoples? Because the peoples are really failing. The peoples are not well. The people need to be healed. The people need higher wisdom's information to be healed so that they can start every day in their life. They still have to take action. They're still responsible for their vibration. And the peoples and the governments and the leaders and the infrastructures will help support them. This is what we need to be healthy people, is higher light wisdom's intelligences, getting back to natural basics, organics, and natural medicines as much as possible, and having a little bit of play with still, current 3D medicines, if you will, some synthetics. But we really need to get back to naturals of where our bodies are being designed. Our bodies are being designed into light and crystalline, which means that it's going to hinder us and it's going to delay us. More and more pesticides, chemtrails, and the pharmaceuticals. So those were our hindrances. Those are entropy energies. So we don't have to rely on them. We have to leave them as just on the side. But we can use them if it's needed for a certain type of, healing, and a certain type of cancer. But not in every situation. We should never be just grabbing the synthetic drugs. That should be the last thing that we do, and look at all the other options first. And those are just suggestions into these higher vibrational, higher model experiences, because a higher model is that understanding you are a multidimensional being of more and more and more light. Therefore, how are we going to start creating and looking at things from the higher perspective so that Divine Feminine can come back in and she can play her role as healer and director through the intuitive body. And she can start healing some systems through the intuitive body, because women really do know how to run things. We know how to run a household inside and out, upside down. And this is really what our communities are. They're our homes. And then coming forward with the Divine Feminine taking on the matriarch role within the communities, like what needs to be healed. I met some beautiful ladies down at the pantry, and there's so many beautiful ladies that are just taking it upon themselves to, make little bags of food and things that, some of the homeless need. And these women are really doing a lot, and they don't have a lot of money to work with. These women are really doing a lot for the community. And these women are helping out so many people. There's the steadfast and they're the unsung heroes that go on every day. And we really want to bring Divine Feminine up to the matriarchal positions that she's meant to be outside of church and state, right? There's some matriarch, in church and state, and they'll go out kicking and screaming and blue in the teeth because they still hold themselves very bigoted within their box store beliefs, and everybody else is less than them. And those will always have those energies there that we'll have to, just kind of put up with. But just put boundaries on it, because our newer, higher understanding is that unity consciousness is all one. Source Creator is the bigger umbrella. You can practice however you want to practice, but you're not meant to interfere with anybody else's path on their discovery and their exploration and expression and experience with Source Creator. They're meant to be enlightened and activated in however they choose and however they want to experience and explore and express themselves as Source. That is the ultimate unity and law of one. Now, in that, the governments and the infrastructures must also follow these universal laws and rules, and therefore, they're being aligned with and anchoring within the grids and the spiritual grids. Each and every one of us is on a spiritual journey, bar none. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are. Every one of us is on a spiritual journey. Each and every one of us are seeing now that these things are starting to break down, and we're not really paying attention to anything in the matrix anymore. We're not really paying attention to all the things we used to pay attention to, because we're finding now that there's different energies that are now bringing us into a momentum of things are changing. Right? Things are changing, and the Divine Father's plan is moving forward. And those that want to hop on are going to hop on. And those that don't and really are kicking and screaming about it are going to go in another way. And the Father has his hand on all of those. There's going to be blocks put on their business. There's going to be blocks put on the 3D rings. There's going to be blocks put on trafficking. And so all of those things that we've given timelines with that are going to be slowly shut down by June 30th are going to be. They're going to find lower and less people to work with. People are not going to want to work with them anymore because people are wanting to come out and do different things. They do want to evolve. And there are some people that really want to get on board with the evolutionary process. They don't want to stay stuck in lower vibrational entropy things where all they're having to do is kind of answer for their crimes, and be in these lower vibrational situations that are truly ruining their lives. And so they want to be a part of, well, how can I be a part of actually creating instead of degrading, or deconstructing? You don't want to be a part of that entropy all the time. It's meant to be a lesson, and then you move on. Right? That's what that neutral space is about. And being neutral is so important. It's where the Divine Sacred Heart exists, is in neutrality. Because it's not judging anything as right or wrong, because it's all source. Everything is all needed. It's all required, as we said yesterday. Your highest level of integration, your highest level of acceptance is that all is source. If there was a necessary experience for somebody to experience having victimization, you don't know what it is being a victim unless you go through something that you're being victimized. So that you need those experiences of victimization to know how can we heal it. That's what the separation, that's what duality is. That's the oxymoron of this co-creative experience. We wanted all these experiences. And so it's very necessary for us to have that neutrality to say, okay, it's all necessary. It allows me to see the bigger playing board. That's what true wisdom is. Everything is the true playing board. Now, how do we want to create with these new foundational outlines? It's a pro forma, really, that we're moving into 5D. The substrates of our reality will be higher. The grids will be higher. They'll be offering us higher light codes. The collective just went through an activation of God codes, and that's why we're feeling a bit different. We have all these activations, all these outbursts and breakouts of our throat chakras and things like that, because the collective has been so suppressed in the throat chakra, which again goes back to validate my thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit, that spirit that came through there. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for being with us today. And we're going to go into a channel because the federations are here. They want a channel. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So I lost my thought. I got so excited. What did you say, Spirit? Lots of energy coming through me right now. Yes, we've got the new performance and we've got the new outlines as to how the outline and the skeleton outline is, right? For people like myself, I'm a teacher, I'm a healer, and I'm a leader. And so in the leadership, we want to show you that there is going to be an outline that you can work with. So here is the basis, here's what you're working with, and then go forward and create. Because you're, as a sovereign being, you get to say, who am I today? What is my highest excitement? And how can I start creating, right? That's your intention. That's where you're going to have that return energy. And this is being the whole multidimensional body that you need. Why you never need anything outside of you. Everything is within. You activate it, you align it, you code it, you nourish it, you plant the seeds, you're healing it, you're caring for it, you're bringing compassion to it. All of you is your focus. That's why nothing outside of you matters. This is where you can go more into a self-focus, do your recoding, do your reset, learn about the beliefs and perspectives and attitudes that are not yours and get rid of them and do your alchemy every day. Then reset in the divine sacred heart. That's where the God seed cell is your mindfulness of your highest mind, your higher source. In this divine sacred light, you get to re-intend and ground into the spiritual grids. These are my intentions for today. And they're vibrational intentions because everything is vibrational. You want to see that coming back to you, right? You don't want to be superfluously, willy, even though it's not superfluous, because there's still going to be a purpose, even though you're not really paying attention to your vibration. You're not really paying attention to the attitudes you're moving with. You're just willy-nilly creating. But you want to be grounded in your co-creative process, because now that creation is going to be moving faster, it's going to oscillate at a faster light quotient, which means you're going to be manifesting faster. So you want to be talking about your body in healthy ways, talking about your partner in healthy ways. This is what I want to see. I get excited when you talk like that. I get excited when I see you do that. It really lights me up, and when you light me up, I light you up, and all of these things. We want to build that energy within one another and say, this is what I need for my ground rules, and this is what you need for your ground rules, and just be open and responsible and caring about, you want to be caring in the suspension with one another, right? You want to suspend each other in really great light. And suspend each other in understanding, to say we're all learning this process right from scratch. We're doing something that humans has never done before, right? So we want to be gentle with one another, and we want to be really caring, and want to say, no, we're going to do something that's really profound. All of the multiverse is watching us, and that's really great because we're all on stage. We're all on stage to say, no matter what I'm working with, I'm going to get up and I'm going to create today. How many failures? It doesn't matter, because failure is really not a failure. There's like steps on the Jacob's ladder. Failure is never really failure. You always learn and expand through everything that you go through. There's nothing that ever says on your first try you're meant to make millions. And again, is that your compass? So we're reorganizing our compass as to what success is, as to what talent is, what skill is. We said in our video the other day. And we're reorganizing, restructuring. What do systems really need from us, and what do we need from them? We just want people, and we want leaders that are going to be out within the people. And it's good to have government buildings, it's good to have the government offices, but are they really doing the highest and the best to make sure that the direction right from the heavens and the monies are going back out to the people? These great people that are in government, some of them, They do have very great ideas for better infrastructure, for cutting out a lot of the red tape and really refining systems to a very minimalistic experience. How do we get the monies to the people? How do we get healing to the people? What is the highest healing for the people? How do we include all of the voices of Canada and the US? How do we include the voices of the First Nations people and the First Peoples and get them back on stage? Get them back on stage, helping us, teach us modalities of healing and shamanism. These are things that there's so much resources within this beautiful continent. We are so rich in resources. And I'm talking about the people, because the people run the world, right? It's not money that runs the world. You know, these comments that these really elite people say that money runs the world. Money doesn't run the world, people. It doesn't. People run the world, because without people, you don't have a world unless you want it run by, AI robots. But then what kind of a life are you going to have? Right? The world will go into entropy if there are no humans on the planet. That's a fact. So if it's just a couple of men and AI robots on the planet, the world will not last. The world will not survive without divine feminine. The world will not survive without children. This planet is meant to be of a multidimensional, multi-race planet of life. Divine feminine breaths and births the waters on this planet. And I know there's going to be people that will be so upset about that, but it's true. If you take divine feminine off and you allow her to be nothing and you allow her to be suppressed and you take assassination hits on her, there will be such devastation on the lands. And you will see entropy faster and faster every day. She is the life of the planet, and she is needed to bring these systems back into balance. So bring divine feminine in on the collective social meetings of infrastructure, of economics and finance. Cut out more of the middlemen, because these aspects are corrupt. There's a lot of handlers in on a lot of the businesses, and they must be cut out. There are more and more people that are no longer doing business with corrupt bodies and corrupt businesses and affiliates, and people know who they are that you're dealing with, because you will be held liable and you will be called out. If it is not aligned with the 5D grids and universal laws, your businesses are already being watched. You're already being watched and you will be called out. Those that are in authority position of policing, judicial, legal, judges, and leaders of the countries, be it community leader, be it premier, be it president, any of you that are involved in agendas with intention to hurt or harm or to go against the universal or spiritual higher order laws, staying out of people's backyards and staying out of people's energies and staying out of people's inheritances. Thus then, you're going to align with allowing each and every person their free will and their freedom of expression. Our continent needs to heal. The only way for our continent to heal is to allow for the freedom of expression. We must be able to speak about our stories, and it is okay if we get angry. So all of those that are pretending that they're so fragile about how things are said and what words are said, and yet there is so much organization of hate groups in which they are paid to hate. And these are the bigoted statements of those people that have done some of those claims and falsifications and gone actually into court and falsified and bared false witness and perjured themselves, have been the very ones that have been complaining about being so sensitive about what's said about them, but they're going in and defaming somebody, making up absolute false accusations because they're being paid as a part of the global organized corruption groups. So we have to really think 2 and 3 times about the sensitivities of what's being said when the ones that are being in secret organized, satanic, Luciferian, organized global hate groups, online hate groups, and all of these people that have been degrading those of us that are meant to come forward, and we're going to keep going. We're not going to stop. We have our birthrights, universal birthrights of expression. And there will be very deep regret on behalf of those that choose as leaderships, as people that are business leaders, if you choose to continue to go in forcing your way of domination, of control over others, and suppression of free will, and suppression of the freedom of expression, there will be great detriment to you, your business, and your lineage, period. There is no more any tolerance. You can pretend that you're fighting against the Father all you want. The grids are supporting the grids. This is a spiritual journey, and we're moving beyond barbarianism. Nobody has a right to suppress anybody's voice. The reason why such things are going into place because they are putting these fear-based systems into the matrix of humanity. The matrix is all about fear-based systems. As long as you keep buying into it, then there's energy keep going to it. That's why all these bills are coming out. They just want to keep feeding the matrix because the matrix is dying. Nobody's buying into it anymore. They're just fear-based systems. And then you talk about, people that are saying these things and they're terrorists and all of these. No, the terrorists are those people that are in the organized crimes and hate groups. So all you have to do is don't pay attention to them. Source has got that looked after. They're going against the grids. Everybody knows on the planet of what's going on. If they choose to continue, they're going to choose to continue and they will be stopped. If you are working in alliance with the Federations of Light, if you're working in alliance with the Father's plan, there will be actions in place, there will be legions in place to assist and make sure that those things and those occurrences don't happen. This has been the misunderstanding because there's been so much separation and degradation and saying we've got all our answers, we're going to run our things the way we want to run things. And so far how you've been running things is absolutely corrupt. And the people don't have any money and the people are going homeless by the day. And people are getting sicker and sicker. So how are you running things? How's that working for you? There is no alignment. There's no connection with spirit whatsoever. When there's no connection with spirit, the systems and the businesses will fail. And it is. And you're being shown. And the leaders will be held liable for every life that is taken, whether it's through the dark occult abuses, because there's still a few in the dark occult abuses, Calgary and the cults back there, were still doing spell work on me as of yesterday. Still wanting to control me and come back to so they can just keep abusing me and keep taking from me and harvesting from me so they can have their life of living off my energy and living off my work and living off my enterprise. And I'm still living on the streets. They've still taken all of my name and defamed it. I'm going to keep talking about it. My voice chakra belongs to me. It doesn't belong to anybody else. And I'm going to keep my voice chakra going. There is shadow governments, and the shadow governments do pay particular source cults and covens, and the cults and covens are now being let go of. Their services are no longer needed. And if you're going to pay the cults and covens for their dark occult abuses, for their mafia sacrificial abuses, for their satanic Luciferian sacrificial abuses, and if the government leaders are going to continue their satanic sacrificial rituals and doing the underground rituals because they're hiding things and they're thinking it's making them powerful, whatever their reasons are for the 70% of world leaders to do these things, you absolutely know that you are running those programs in entropy because it can be only that. When you're dominating and leading from fear-based programs and fear-based agendas as terrorists and all of these things. Terrorists are only there because you're manifesting it through your fear-based programs, and you all know that. Hate begets hate, fear begets fear, and it goes around in a nasty, ugly circle. That's what Epstein was all about. Epstein was here to show all of you. This is what you manifest. From the degradation and the egregiousness and the disgustingness of what's been happening in this imbalanced system of autocracy. It's the winner gets all, dog-eat-dog world, divine masculines in their elite age, in their elite stage, and they're the only ones that win. Everybody else suffers. The world on this continent right now is suffering because of what has been done in the church and state. And they have to take, and they will take accountability. Therefore, thus then leaders, when will you start to begin to be the inspirators and the engagers and the lifting of your people? Because that's why you're a leader, is to lift your people, not to create agendas for your selfish gain. Yes, it is a part of the finance and economics. Yes, it isn't 90% of it. It isn't 100% of it, and that's how you all have been running as world leaders. You've been running your leadership energies as absolutely finance and autocracy. It's all about finance and economics. That's all it's about. What if all of the world leaders flipped that script and put 90% of it about the people and the land? And then the 10% with your God's equation that we talked to you last week and we taught you last week. If you work with the perfection of the God's equation and you put 10% of economics and finances to help out all of the other systems, things would just work out. Because that's the consciousness that is right now as 5D. You're thinking that there's nothing out there because you're not connected with source. You're thinking that the omnipresent is not out there because you're not connected with source. You have no idea what the omnipresent is. You have no idea what the field of light is. You have no idea what the field of intelligence is because you're not working with it. You're not connected. What if you were connected? What if you were actually a leader that was connected to higher consciousness? What if you were actually a leader that taught about higher consciousness? What if you were actually a leader that knew that God was with you in every step? Then you wouldn't have to worry about these silly programs like terrorist programs and putting your energy and your money towards nuclear energies. It's blasphemous. You say you're connected with God, you're not. Not on any level. And then you spend 70% of the world leaders are going to these satanic rituals. None of you know what you're doing. I'm telling you that right now. None of the world leaders know what you're doing. If you are doing these things, you don't know what you're doing as a world leader. You are not leading from the highest level of consciousness within your heart space. If you are not leading from your heart, what are you leading with? 3D logic? Fear-based programs. Okay, then what? We've seen that, then what? It's going nowhere, you know it. Thank you for acknowledging that. The world leaders just said it's going nowhere. You know that. So how are you going to step out of it? We need higher light. Exactly. Thank you for admitting it. Thank you for being along for this ride. We congratulate you. And God's been working on you in your sleep time because you must wake up. You're leaders. The land needs you to pay attention. So now we're going to talk about the land. Dear lighted ones, everything within creation has its essence of becoming, has its essence of purpose. Everything, whether you think it doesn't, it does. That fly, that insect, that piece of bug, that animal over there, the trees and the nature, they all have a system of language. They have a system of occupation within Source Creator. Source Creator knows of it, and it knows of Source Creator. Whether you think it does or doesn't, it doesn't matter. The belief is the law of one. All is Source Creator, and Source is all. It all has its purpose. It all has its state of consciousness. Every planet within the galaxy, within the universe, has a blueprint. Doesn't matter whether you believe it, it's true. Gaia does have a blueprint. She has her purpose. Her purpose is to stay in life of the beings and the life matter that are on this planet for the Father's plan and the evolutionary plan within the galaxy and her universe. She is the daughter of the galaxy. She is the last one to evolve in the galaxy, along with a few other planets in the ecosystems that have a bit of life similar to Earth that we will be helping level up as they move through their level of ascension. Very similar to planet Earth, but not really. And we will be helping them. In the future of 5D Earth, this planet will be known as a state of vast, diverse exploration because we've allowed ourselves within the diversity of who we are on this planet and the many religions and many belief systems we've come from to come to a state of saying, hey, it doesn't matter what our beliefs have been, we've really run it into the ground. And we're really in a red alert state here because we got to turn it around and we got to turn around quickly. What do we do? Well, you got to realign to Source Creator because that's where you come from. That's where you're going to go. You're going to come back to a natural state of balance. You're going to anchor into the 5D spiritual grids because you're now a spiritual being. You now recognize your spiritual being. You're only here for a spiritual journey. That's it. So now what is your greatest passion? Your greatest passion is to be involved in the creatorhood of systems, the creatorhood of finance and economics in new ways, exciting ways that are going to align with the reduction and the simplicity of being a higher vibrational intelligent being, not a wasteful being, not a being that only cares about the high and the elite and the corrupt. Because these systems will no longer work with spiritual grids. They're not going to work with the higher substrate of the omnipresent, the divine intelligence. These things are truths. You're either going to kick your head all the way around or you're going to keep going through another cycle and you're going to be proven wrong again. So either you get off the bandwagon of trying to prove everybody wrong or you're going to get on the higher ascension pathwork. It's up to you. How many cycles you want to go around banging your head before you're proven again it's not working. Your fear-based programs are not working because why? It's not aligned with the spiritual grids. You're going into entropy. So if you want to be in entropy, you need to sit down at the table and you need to say, do I really want entropy? And you have to face it. Because if you really want entropy, you got to stop trying to be a part of the New Earth system. You got to choose entropy or New Earth. Entropy or New Earth. What do you want? You got to choose it. And then choose it with passion and then let God get in there. God will take you wherever you want to go. You want to go to entropy? There you go. But you're not going to keep putting entropy systems in New Earth systems. It's not going to work. It's going to show you failure every day. Because there's no resonance, there's no vibrational match. It's quantum. That's what we're teaching you from here on out. Everything is vibrational. So in this new experience where you're doing your daily pathwork, you're aligning with Source, you now have this new energy of we're going to put things together. It's going to align with the universal laws. Now we got a good foundation. We got the grids going for us. We got this divine intelligence. Now what do? We have so much energetic vibrational support. There's nothing that we can't do. We're going to cut out a lot of the middlemen. It's not needed. And then as you cut these middlemen out, say, go away and you think about what you're truly passionate about. Because obviously if there's going to be cut away, there's going to be some people that will be upset they're going to be cut away. So go find your true passion, come back, and then maybe create something that you're passionate about. But we have to start cutting out the red tape BS. We have to start cutting out all corruption when you know that it's going on and it needs to be cut out. Those judges and lawyers and everybody in policing, you know that they're being corrupt, you know that they're being sideways, and you know that they're signing papers through, and you know that they're putting things through they shouldn't be putting through. No paper should be put through that's not 100% accurate. And there should be checks and balances. You know there is checks and balances, and those checks and balances better be there because you're going to be audited. You're being watched. The higher courts are coming down on everybody. You're not going to get away with your little judge and your lawyer, little buddy system, and your little secret masonry system where you're doing horrible things to the trafficking rings, and then you're coming away and saying, I'm the man of the cloth, while you're misrepresenting and putting children in jail because you think they're going to talk out about the abuses you've done to them. Lawyer in Memphis, judge in Memphis. You will get called out. You will have your walking papers. Source has said enough. Because you're not aligned with the grids, you're not aligned with your higher self, and you don't have the right to affect other people's destinies because of your wounding and your arrogance and your greed and ignorance. There is no more room for this divine people. We need you to be as divinely aligned in your sacredness. And if you need healing, then step away and allow somebody else to take your place and get healed. Because children do not deserve their destinies to be ripped apart. Divine healers like myself don't deserve to be sitting on the street fighting for their life and their rights because you don't want to face your healing. There's a lot of people that know that I'm owed. So when are you going to make it right? I didn't need to be tested on. I didn't need to be set up and abused. I didn't need to be sabotaged every day. I didn't need to have gangs and groups of people doing hits on my life and ripping my life apart vibrationally, mentally, physically, emotionally. False accusations and false medical records and false this and false that. And none of you even knew me. None of you even spoke with me. So they're saying they had a disregard of my energy and my work. Then why did you end up stealing my work? Why did you end up living off my work? Why did you end up going to many parties and going on trips and vacations and hotels while I sat on the street from my work? You all benefited off my work, so how could you disregard it? Because you're bigots. You don't understand. You don't know. It's ignorance. So then what? You don't need to come to me and say sorry. I don't want you to come to me and say sorry. It doesn't mean anything. It's 3 years late. I hear your apologies now. You're forgiven. What I need right now is I need my finances fixed because my credit bureau is a mess, because I need to get new ID cards and I need to get new passports so that I can heal and travel around the world and do what I'm meant to do on my soul's progression, because I do care about my soul's progression. I always have. There's never a moment I don't care about it. I'm here standing in front of all of you, empowering, encouraging, inspiring all of you to 5D ways, but I can't do my job because people have fucked around with me so much so I can't move. But that was their intention. That was their hate. We're going to do so much to her that she will just die. And that was their intention. I don't deserve to have anything. That was their words. And those words will go down in court and they will be charged and they will have several life sentences. It's nobody's right to have any judgment on me. God only knows me. No others know me. I know who I am. These are truths. What I need right now are finances and donations. I need to fix what has gone wrong. Even though it wasn't my doing, I didn't choose black magic. I didn't choose sex orgies. I didn't choose falsification of my information. I didn't choose to fraudulate my bank accounts and insurance and my family's and all of my work. I didn't choose those things. These were done by people that wanted to live and steal and take from me and rape from me and leave me for dead. That was their intention. Therefore, thus then, all of these experiences of corruption in the communities, everything is being watched. You are all going to be blocked and nothing will move forward with any of you. And we will get people in there that actually care about justice, that actually care about making new systems and new laws to protect those that abuse the dark occult magic so that they can get their way rather than doing the work. Because you don't need to have anything outside of you. You don't need to have a dark high priestess to say you're going to be important in entertainment. You don't need any of these people. And these people know it because you've all tried to come against me and the ancestors have sent all your work back. And you're all getting karma times 10. You will not touch me because you're so egregious in your jealousy and envy and hate that you want to take me out because you know that I'm ranked. And then you got to go back to the drawing board again. Do your healing. Because is that your compass? Really? Bullies in the playground? If somebody doesn't agree with you, you go and take them out with your magic? I haven't even pulled my magic out. I haven't even used a spell. I don't do spell work. I don't use my magic. I do light work. Because I know the consequence of doing it. Because I'm being watched every day, every word I say. I don't do magic on people. I don't need to. I do the healing. And then God offers me the blessing. That's what I teach. It's what I've taught for 15 years. If I'm going to be allowed to get on the platform, YouTube corruption. Why is it that after I upload a video, I am shown 3,100 viewers as soon as I click off, but it doesn't show up until 8 hours later? Why is that? Why is it goes through its process of uploading the views? Why is that? Because there's other people skimming off the top. That's why. Source told me years ago, people are skimming off me. My ex was involved in the skimming and stealing from me. You're not coming back. Anybody from the past, you're not coming back. The damages you've done are bajillion-fold. There's nothing for us to say. You fucked me over royally. So go away and you celebrate it and you be real happy about all the damage you've done to me. I'm sitting on the street while you lived for free off of me and my ideas and called my work your work. It's not. You will never be the vibration I carry. So go do your healing, go get healed, go get assessed, and go get healed, please. If you want to make it right, send the checks to my bank, send the checks to my EFT. You all know my banking numbers. I put it on YouTube. There's the bank account. There's the address. PayPal is right there. It takes 8 seconds to donate to me. But do you? If you wanted to make it right, would you? Your point of making it right is to get back in my energy, to come and give me this half-assed story that's 3 years late, say, oh, I'm sorry, and la-di-da-di-da-di-blah-di fucking da. It doesn't matter to me anymore. It's too late. I've already carried the load. I've already transmuted the hate. I've already transmuted the PTSD. I've already transmuted the trauma. I've already transmuted the 8,000 spell work. I've already transmuted the voodooists and the little voodoo dolls. I've carried it. I've carried your shit. I've carried your shit. This is how alchemy goes. You do 3,000 curses on me, I have to alchemize it. You put your little voodoo dolls and your little hate work and you put me in a jar, I have to alchemize it, I have to break it. I've broken free of every one of your hate spells. I've broken free of every one of your she's not going to have anything spells. I've broken free of every one of your cock blocking spells. I've broken free of every one of your glamour spells. I've broken free of every one of your sex orgy spells. You can't count the spells that have been done on me, and here I am today. I don't have anything because it's held behind somebody's fucking hand. Somebody's got their hands on my money. Somebody's got their hands on my name and my birthrights. Everybody on this planet knows who I am. I'm of royal lineage. I'm of the ancient lineage, and nobody's ever going to touch down on this planet like me ever again. And yet people think they're all big and mighty because they have access to what I am. And God will rip it down in every way. And you will see karma in every way, in every day, until I'm given what is mine. I've earned it. 1,000 lifetimes I've earned it, and my ancestors will rip apart your homes until it's mine. Because it's a part of the Father's plan, it's a part of my destiny, and I am the prophecy. And each and every one of you treated me like I was an absolute test rat. And you all tested me, MK Ultra'd me, poisoned me, intention to infect me, premeditated murder, false fabrication of lies, false accusations, abuse of power, abuse of technology, abuse of information. You can go on and on and on. Not one person has stepped forward to say sorry. I don't want you to step forward and say sorry. I want the monies in my account. I want the donations. I need to fix my life, please. There's people around this world that want my healing and want my teachings. And it's not okay that I'm held back because of the egregiousness of ignorance, of envy and jealousy and corruption. Are we all set now? We're all understanding now. We're going to stop bringing up the past. The past is dead and gone. I don't need you to step forward and bring your apologies. It will mean nothing to me. I needed it last year when I was going 17 days of being hungry. I needed it the year before that when I had my car taken away from me. I needed it before that when I had my laptop stolen and all of my IDs stolen. I've already carried the weight. I've already alchemized it. So your 3-year late apology doesn't mean shit to me. It doesn't mean shit. I sleep outside. Where do you sleep? You sleep in a house that I paid for. You sleep in a house that's probably got my name on the title. So how's that okay? And then you go and put these POAs and you put all these false paperworks. These false paperworks have been signed by how many people? 3 to 4 people that one POA is signed for, and the files have to be looked over, the files have to be checked, and there has to be due process by at least 3 to 4 other people. How's that okay? And how does money go in and out from anybody's account without those 4 signatures and somebody doing a check out of those 4 people's names, out of the processes and the cross-checks on 4 things? How is that possible through insurance and through legal process and through banking? How is that possible? Judges, lawyers of Calgary, so corrupt. Calgary needs an absolute cleanup. You should be embarrassed of the systems that are in Calgary. How much corruption is going on in Calgary and nobody thinks twice about it. You just keep turning a blind eye because somehow you're going to get a payback. Somehow a warlock or somehow the Mason is going to get your money back. All your cults and covens are coming down. How many people have you taken out? How many people's insurances? How many people's retirements have you taken? You've scammed a lot of people out of their retirement. You've scammed a lot of people out of their insurance. Scammed a lot of people out of their work life and their business that they had faith and they had honor in their business. There's been businesses taken down and taken over by these swarmed vampires that don't care about the business. They don't care about the people. All they care about is surviving and taking other people's light. They're like vampires and roaches that go around eating everything up. They don't care about the business. They care about the money they're getting from it. They're vampires. And this is what you want for your people. This is your corruption. This is your highest aspects. This is what you're doing. This is your compass. You're just going to eat everything and then what? Okay, so now that everything's eaten, now what? You got to fix it, Premier. You got to fix it, presidents. What are you going to do? Your whole countries are all corrupt and everything's being eaten by corrupt mafia masons. Now what? How are you going to fix it? You don't know. The only way for you to fix it is higher light intelligence. We need to state with a fact, there is no tolerance for bullying. There is no tolerance for these corruptions to go on in every community and every city. And the light workers will no longer be stalked, no longer be spied and put on hit lists and watch lists. We are the ones here to lift humanity up. We are the ones to bring higher light wisdoms and teachings so that everybody gets their heads out of their bums and they start healing. We have to start healing. We have to face what we are doing. We have to face what has been done. We have to face the shadow. We have to face the sexual repressions. We have to face that there has been no divine feminine for about 3,000 years in our collective. And every time she rises to a certain state, she is killed. Maliciously killed. There is no tolerance anymore. Divine feminine is risen. She is arisen. This is her garden. And she has reclaimed her mantle. The mantle is of the grids of this planet are returned back to Gaia. And she will move through ascension. She is under nobody's authority but God and the federations. Is that clear? Gaia is under no stronghold by any entity or energy, period. Is that clear? World leaders, I'm asking you, is that clear? Thank you. Gaia is a sovereign species of consciousness. She knows who she is and she knows what she's doing. She has her blueprint with the Divine Father. She belongs with the federations and the galaxy, under the Father's plan of liberation, within the evolutionary programs of light. Is that clear, world leaders? You will not sell her and bid her as if she's owned by you, and she is not. And she will prove it to you in every moment if she has to. She will have a spontaneous volcano wherever one of your corrupt agendas are and is, and she has every right. Because she said she's had enough. Spiritual grids and Gaia have spoken. The collective hearts have spoken. We've had enough of being taken advantage of. We've had enough of being handled. We've had enough of being bought and sold and traded and bid in the black web when nobody's had any right to do so. We've had enough of our monies and our finances being taken from and raped before we even know that we have them. And they're being sold to corrupt elites and to corrupt leaders and to corrupt programs so you can study us, to see what other programs you're going to make more money off of, to see that making sure you're going to keep humanity in fear-based programs, and you're not. We are meant to evolve into our 5D satellite state, which is our highest state of Metatronic light, so that we have access to all things within the universe, which is like a satellite. That is the higher self. We will evolve into our higher self, and that will ascend us into 5D. And we will, as a collective, we will commit and we will devote to clearing 51% of our karma because we want to know our divine feminine woundings. We want to know our divine masculine woundings so we can stand in who we are and we can be the best representation of the heavens. That is our destiny. And God will work with us on what our unique gifts and skills and talents are that we can offer to the collective, because all we need is who we are within. Does that not sound like an easier system, dear lighted ones, where nobody is abused and nobody is taken advantage of and everybody has their rights to be exactly who they are? Doesn't that sound more clean and pristine and anchored? It does. Gaia will no longer be touched by any energy or entity that thinks it's going to turn this into a black hole of Epstein sludge. Those that choose to continue in their dark occult, sacrificing, killing rituals, affecting people, and interfering with their lives and destinies, you will be shifted off every ascension cycle. You're going to be shifted off, and you can live in the lower universe, in the lower realms. And therefore, thus then, you will not incarnate into another body because you haven't earned the light to go into another body. And those are rules. You have to get the rules of ascension. You have to get the rules of progression, of evolution. You have not evolved to earn another body. It doesn't matter what your box store beliefs are. So begin there, get healed. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? We want to bring the higher vibrational understanding that now we are here to build bridges. Now we are here to see things in higher vibrational ways, and each and every one of you is needed and necessary because each and every one of you play a part in your communities. You play a part in the homes you sit in. Your home is that which is your safe space for all to be heard and valued and honored and loved, without being played magic and voodoo in the very next room so that the children are getting sick every other week because you're harvesting off of them, and you're doing voodoo and ritual spells, and their light bodies and their crystalline starseed bodies can't handle the darkness that you're intentionally, maliciously hovering over them and suffocating them. And misaligning their chakras, and misaligning their dreams, and misaligning their visions, and misaligning everything about who they are as starseeds, bringing the light to the planet. And this is being done every day. Harvesting goes on every day. Everybody that has ever used my work, you're going to repay me somehow, some way. Stop using my work. You were never given permission. My websites and my platforms and my videos were never, ever given permission by anybody to use. You're meant to come on my channel and you're meant to do your daily pathwork and be a better version of you and offer your unique version, not offer another version of me and not pay me for it. Because that's harvesting and that's copyright infringement. My work is not your work. I get the downloads, I do the work, and yet I'm paid nothing. You cannot just recopy and rename my work as yours. It's not. My work is my work. My channel is my channel. And you will be stopped and you will be blocked because you're not aligning with the 5D grids. Your gift and skill and your offering is about you. Who are you? What are your passions? And you have to go there with God. You have to go there with your teams. That's the daily pathwork. Who am I today? What are my excitements today? And if you do the meditations and if you do the pathwork, Spirit will show you that maybe you are an herbalist. Maybe you were somebody that taught children. Maybe you were somebody that did a lot of oceanography work. You have nothing to do with what I'm doing. Maybe it's something different. That's where you have to be realigned. Because you're not truly aligned with your soul's blueprint if all you're doing is interfering on somebody else. Because you don't have the original ideas, because your chakras are all out of balance. But you can recorrect these things by, again, doing the pathwork. So if you want a session with me to understand all of these things, these are very sacred systems on how sociologically we can work. We can work as a very high vibrating society. We can have the Alexandria era come back again, and we can be at a 5D level this time because we know the errors that we made in Atlantis. We know the errors we made in Lemuria. We know the errors that we've made in all of the wars. We're not going to do that anymore. There's no tolerance. We do want to evolve to be higher intelligence because we do want on and off world contact. We want to be flying on and off the world. We want to be going here and there. We want to be helping other planets. We want planet Earth to be the best place for people to learn how to heal from separation, how to heal from discrimination. We are going to be the bridge builders of the galaxy. And there will be species from all over coming to us. How did we heal what we healed? How did we bring Gaia to even a more healthier state? This vision I had, I'm going to show you this vision. It's a higher vibrational vision that I had for those of you who so desire. So just open up your pillars of light that you want to tap in and tune in to the higher collection. And we've got the galactic federations and the systems of light for those of you that would like to tap into your higher self. And you would like a vision of your own. And we're calling in the spirit guides and we're calling in Archangel Michael to bathe and cleanse this space, the holy light. I'm going to bring forward a few visions of higher vibrational visions so that you can get your multidimensionality. And you're going to use your multidimensional toolkit of your vibrational systems and your chakras and how to use these and move them into a now moment and use it with your path work. Now, in this experience, I had this vision and just align and just take in the crystalline light and now anchor to the 5D grids. My chakras are aligned, my bodies are aligned, my fields are aligned. I'm now accepting in higher vibrational downloads, higher vibrational packets and codes for my higher vibrational healing and activations and alignments, for my highest and my best and the highest and best for the greater good. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Now, in this vision, I had one of these beings come to me from Mars. And this is a future aspect of Mars. This is a slightly higher vibrational aspect of Mars. And these beings were slightly small, and they were kind of red. They had red skin, kind of reddy gray skin, like a red clay. Just moving the energy. And these beings had come to me, very large heads. And they had called upon the Galactic Federations and Star Councils through which I work with. I work with Star Council. Star Council, they come to me and they counsel me and they consult. It's like a consulting fee, which is what I do here on Earth. People consult me for my wisdoms and my intelligence, for my energy. And so I do this in the galaxy as well. And I'm known as the Princess in the galaxy. I'm known as Joanna as well in the galaxy, as well as my star name. No, most often than not, I'm known as the Princess. And they called upon the Princess to come to Mars in this future aspect, in this future dimension, and assist. They were finding some problems that they have been going through a process of degradation. Because you must know that within the galaxy, all of the planets within the galaxy are connected. So whatever Mars is going through, if it's a future timeline, a future thread, doesn't matter if it's a dimensional thread down the road, we're still connected with it. It's still touching us in some way. Now they're connected with also Earth. Earth is moving through her ascension, and she's coming out of a separation of her, who she is with the galaxy, who she is with Source Creator, who she is with her collective. Remember, it's always a sacred trinity. And these are the aspects that we're healing. Mars was going through their experience of separation, coming back into unity. And they called me there and they said, we've got some problems. We don't know how to fix this. And I stayed there and I did a review with them for a couple of days and I looked at what the planet was moving through. And it was quite sad because what they were moving through, and I talked about it once on my video, is that they had a very established and a very intellectual collective when they had their inception of colonies. And they were very, 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 very wise. But they did not have the intelligence or the teachings of Source Connector, of connecting with all that is Source. They were intelligent to a degree, but they found that information of engagement was declining. Inspiration was declining. Health was declining because there was no connection with Source. And they had found a lot of sadness in their communities. They had found that they didn't want to take care of the land, disrespect to the land, disrespect to one another. And it has slowly been going downwards. It had been going into a de-evolution state because they were having something very similar to Gaia, except in a different realm, a different dimension. So they had called me. What did you do in Earth there? And how are you doing it on Earth? How are you inspiring light? How are you engaging light? How do you instigate light? How do you create light? And all of that, because they're seeing that there are differences that are being made. And many from the planet Earth, even though I haven't been opened up to the entire globe, there has been enough energy and there's been enough change on Earth that those energy pulsations have gone through the councils. The councils have seen the return and they've seen the positive impact. And the people from the beings from Mars had said, is it okay if we borrow her to come and see and help us and help us create something for us to be in a state of renewal as well as Earth? They had seen what's been going on. So in my higher states, I'm helping them on Mars to create a new establishment of recreating from day one, from scratch one. Who are they? Who are they as Source beings? You got to go back to the beginning. And you go back to the beginning because you got to reignite that excitement to be who you are again as you wake up. And it doesn't matter what you have when you wake up, and it doesn't matter where you're at, but there is always that seed excitement and that God seed cell that no matter what and no matter how things look, I'm going to get up because I'm meant to be here. There is a spark within me and I'm always connected with Source and nothing's ever going to take that away from me. And that is where you begin. You begin with that unfathomable account of who you are with Source. There is a threading that will never separate. And it's light running down my spine. It's light running in my chakras. It's light running in my blood. It's light running in every thought, word, and deed. And these beings, as they were seeing me sit there and they were seeing me talk about Source and get excited about Source, they can feel the light running through my body and my veins and my blood. And they were very monotone. They were very sad, and their shoulders were slumped, and they had no energy. They had no excitement to be who they are. They had no energy to be on the planet anymore. They didn't even want to. They didn't want to be on the land, because they were working themselves. Yes, they were intelligent when they got there, but if there is no light and there is no source, there is no emotional experience. They're not emoting anything. That emotion body is what you need. You need the energy of the emotional body to know that you're alive again. As we said earlier in my video, that woman wants to be wooed. She wants to know that the man's putting in a little extra. These are the emotive things that make you want to be a part of the dance. And if you don't have the emotional experience, if you don't have the emotional intuitiveness, and you don't have that divine feminine out there, out in the communities, rebirthing new homes and rebirthing new energy and rebirthing this and rebirthing that, if there is not that rebirth, there is no birth. There is no excitement to be here. We love it when children laugh. When children laugh, it lights up everything. Everybody's looking around. Where's the children laughing? Where's the new baby? Where's the new baby? Right? That is the ignition of life. That's source. That's the innocence. You can be as smart as you want. You can be as logical as you want. It doesn't matter. You're not going to create new life through logic. You just won't. You can logicize it all you want. You're not going to create new life through logic. You need the essence of spirit. You need the spark of the God seed. The God seed cell is all life. Bar none. I travel across the multiverse. This is a truth. Go look at the planets that are now back in life again because of these teachings. So where are you? Where are you? What does your home look like? What does your garden look like? How are you as the garden of God? We talk about this all the time. They're parables. Who are you? What are your seeds? Are your seeds loving and compassionate? Are they? Take a look at you right now. Is it? Are you? In of as spirit, are you? Activate your code of life, dear lighted ones. That's why I'm called. But all of you have done your best to kill me. And so what good that make? That means you all die. So then what? What's your next move, Einstein? Yeah, you've made some mistakes, so accept it. Put it on the table. Now let's get busy building. Let's get busy with light. Let's get busy with love and compassion. Let's get busy with putting the money back to the people so they can actually have the energy to move around and heal again. Isn't that what matters? Because if your people aren't healed, then what? Then what? You're just a leader of a lot of dead people and sick people, and that's going to lay on your soul. You're still going to be responsible for it. You never escape that. So how about you be leaders of creating healing and peace and unity and oneness? How about you get down to the people's level and say, what is the problem here? Let's do this. There are far too many people going homeless because it's just so impossible for them to afford a place that they live in. We need communal living. We need places for the homeless, and they can be resolved by schools that are emptied. Their children are going to need a place to stay when we bring them up from trafficking, and the current leaders are going to be a part of healing these children because you've allowed it to go on for too long. You will be a part of this healing of trafficking. Make no mistake about it. God's going to get you right in there. We're going to open homes and we're going to open schools for everybody to get healed. And the monies will go back to the communities because the peoples are important. Because the people make the world go round, dear lighted ones, not money. Regardless of what you think, of your beliefs, of your elitism, it ain't true. And why you call on people like me? Because I activate you. It's energy. Your money can't buy you energy. And you all know that. You're all stuck in that right now at your tables, your very expensive tables, while I sit outside in nature. And what is the compromise? What's the compromise? The compromise is you face your accountability and you state your apology and you say, here is the offer of your money back. We're so sorry we did this to you. And here's your birth records and your birthright. That's what you say, and you take accountability. And you clear your conscience and you clear your karma, and then things will flow. The God energy will flow in you. That's called natural order. God has seen that you've made room. Because you care about the God spark. Do you? Do you care about the God spark? Do you care about your garden? Do you care about the home? Do you care about the children sitting in your home? Do you care about the children having the next life? Do you? These are important questions. Because the people on Mars were in a very sad state. They didn't know what to do. They had not been taught. They did not know what the vibration of God was. They were smart, yes. They had thought and accomplished many things, yes. But look at them. Look at humanity. Do we look like the highest evolved beings that are helping one another and building bridges and loving one another in every way? Do the leaders love the people? Do the leaders show every day how much they love the people, how much they love the land? They can't wait to get on the land. They can't wait to help the people heal. They can't wait to bring the people up to new levels of intelligence. Do the leaders act like this? Do the leaders show these vibrations of unity, of excitement to be who they are? Everything is vibration, delighted ones. And then what? What is your garden? And how does it grow? Nothing can be anything without source, because source is all that is. Divine feminine is the breather and birther of all life. The divine masculine is the action of all life. And the divine masculine is that which brings safety and honor and knowing to environments and systems, that which, when you present, we are so absolutely firm in your leadership because you've thought about it and you've been responsible and you care about the people. You care about the people that are on your back, that you will carry them through to the next stage of evolution because you care, and you can't do it with just money and a smart system. You need love, and you need your people to be available to express all that is in that emotive body that is very sick and wounded because it's been so very suppressed. Your emotions are there to bring you the most glorious aspect of life with every color, and what Mars missed was color. They had no color. They were monotone, because all they were was a mental body. There was no emotional body whatsoever, and their light had slowly died. And when your light dies, the waters dry up, the land dries up, the people dry up, and you de-evolve and you go into entropy. For spirit is the quickener, and if there is no spirit, there is no quicken. And these are truths. And this is what church and state has wanted to hide from you, so that you stay as repressed as possible, in their box as possible, and you feed them. And source has said no more. We're moving forward with the Father's plan, and church and state can get on board all they want. But they will be paying me for consultations, and they will be doing the right, they will be doing the work the righteous way, because God is watching all of them. And each and every one of those that have harmed and hurt and done horrible things in their basements and used their churches in any other way than to make money for their affiliate businesses, each and every one of them will be pulled, and they will get karma. Because we will not have our waters dry up, and we will have them safe and healthy, and we will ensure that water will be to all villages and all people, and it will be clean water. Because these are the very basics of being human on a planet that can have this available, but it isn't. And this is only to the fault of the leaders. There's infinite ways that we can make better systems and have ready-to-go farms in very third-world countries and have people go out and teach people how to farm gracefully off the land so that it's balanced. And these are the rules, and these are the deeds, and these are the matriarchs of the families and the communities, to teach these things to the women, to teach these things to the men on how to work upon the land in very natural, balanced ways so that we are not degrading from the land and we are helping our communities level up. Every first world country should be teaching every third world country and creating movable farms, little boxed farms that they take to the third world countries, and they unpack these farms and they teach them, and they put free wells in their lands, and they teach them how to get fresh water. This should be the law of every first world country, and is it? No. It's been very separative, dog-eat-dog world, and this is how the leaders behave. Because all they think about and all they care about is money makes the world go round, and it doesn't. And you're wrong, and you will be sat down. That's not godly on any level. You will be blessed and you will be gifted equal to your source light and the greater good. And the energy that you sit within your highest excitement, your highest exploration, your highest experience of being godly in and of yourself, in of as spirit, and showing that which is in your free expression of who you are as spirit, you inspire others to be in of as their spirit. And they're aligned with God, and they are shown with God. This is the awakening of godliness and all. This is awakening, dear lighted ones. Everybody is on their unique journey. Different pacing, different temperaments, different lessons, different theories they're supposed to learn. different integrations of the divine feminine masculine energies, different gifts and skills and talents, different ways that their DNAs will be activated, different aspects of their DNA, different percentage points of their DNA, and the hybridization of their DNA. There's so many things to take into advantage and into account here, delighted ones, that nobody can have control over it, and they won't. They simply won't. Starseeds will not be used. So government agendas and the shadow governments and the military shadow governments, anything that is involved with starseeds and the agendas of starseeds and any of those programs, you will abandon them right now. You will not use the starseeds in any way. You will not use any agendas of using the peoples of higher intellect this way. And you will not exclude us and test on us for all of our lives and never give us a penny and never give us forthright and never give us accountability of who we have been and what you have used us for. And then you've beat us and then you've sabotaged us so that we stay small and we never talk about it. Then you put a government bill on it saying, no, we're going to have the freedom of expression. You can't talk about your wounds anymore because you know what you've done. Isn't it timely that the countries, this continent comes out with bills that they're trying to pass by the end of January so that nobody talks about what they've been through online? Isn't that just timely? As we're talking about one of the biggest discrimination cases of all human time. Anybody puts a piece of paper like that on a table to be signed by the higher courts of your country, you will have the worst karma, and your children will as well. And these are truths. Because the only way for humanity to heal is actually account for it and be accountable, cowards. You will be accountable for what you have done. You knew what you were doing when you were doing it, and you did it over and over and over and over again, and you paid people to sabotage me. And you paid people to keep me sick and ill. And you tested and you observed, and you tested and you observed with zero permissions, with zero authority, and no legal contract at all, no signatures, no nothing. I've signed nothing but divorce. I've been given nothing, not one penny. I've been given nothing from anybody, but you all felt it somehow legally entitled to rape me upside down and backwards, and then exploit me in the black web to sell me for even more. And then to exploit me and defame me, and then falsely accuse me of your crimes. So as you say, all I need right now is the money so I can fix my life of the damages that have been done for 50 years on my life. That's what I'm looking for. I say it every day I come on here. What I'm looking for is the monies to make my life back in balance. Because the things that have been done have been beyond horrible, cruel, and unusual. Premeditated murder, over 17 crimes, countless rituals, countless death crimes, countless assassination attempts, and it's done, it's over. Everybody's being taken out and everybody's been blocked. Nothing can touch me. And from here on out, I want to bring higher vibrational teachings of the visions that I get so that we can bring all of these ideas from other worlds and from the now moment and from future aspects so that we don't move into those experiences. The reason why I was shown that experience from Mars is that very similar mirrored energies are here on Earth. And if the people are not reconnected back to spirit within who they are as spirit, then they're going to be in another de-evolved state where things will slowly dry up. Because if you have no harmonization with spirit, if you have no harmonization with who you are as spirit, or the planet is spirit, or the heavens is spirit, and your collective energy is spirit, if there's no connection within the sacred Trinity, what happens? You disconnect and you die. Why? It's basic sociology. Because we all belong together. We're like this big botany garden. And this garden relies on light, chlorophyll. This body deserves its water and its nourishment and good soils. We need to know that in the earth and above the earth, we all matter. We're all one. We all need each other. So how do we start treating each other as this sacred family that we are? We are the only humans at this time that are coming up with ideas and energies and inspirations and engagements and compassion and true higher vibrational healings. This will be noted for all of time, for all of histories. Does that not excite you, humanity? Does it not excite you to be the time that you're going to stand and say, no, I'm going to be a new leader. This isn't going to happen any longer. People are suffering. People are homeless. This is not okay. And you're going to flip it around. Because you're aligned with light now, because you're connected with light now, because you do care about your soul's progression, and you do want to be on that ride of eternal life. Because you have gifts, you're a piece of the puzzle, and you're meant to be here. And I'm going to tell you every day I come on here, get up. Get up and create from wherever you're at. Keep aligning with source light. Keep doing your daily path work and say, how can I be my best today, Spirit? What do you want me to do today? How can I be a part of this beautiful movement forward? Please let me be a part of the show. Put me in, Coach, put me in. That's what God wants to see. You don't have to be perfect in your speech. You don't have to be perfect in your ways. But you just got to get up and be the beautiful embodiment of emotion. That's what's going to heal us. And do it in a mature and honoring way. And that's why we teach ascension. That's why we teach alchemy. Because you can say things responsibly. You can say things playfully. You can say things jokingly. You can say things romantically. You can say things beautifully. These are things we're meant to dive into, people. So don't be afraid of the emotional body. The emotional body will keep us in sustainment forever. Get comfortable with the emotional body. Let's heal the emotional body. We're meant to be fully emotive, people. We just are learning how to be balanced in our emotions. And that is the beauty of this ride. That is why you will be masters, and you will be needed and wanted and searched and looked at all over the universe, because you get it. We don't want to be like other planets that are going through devastation because they forgot to connect with spirit. They forgot to connect with joy. They forgot to connect with happiness. They forgot to connect with what it feels like to really, truly impress their mate, because they wanted to be that alpha male for that 50 minutes or so. Yes, be that alpha male. Please prance and show me your feathers. Thank you. I deserve it. We're losing face, dear lighted ones, of why we're here. We're here to have this emotional ride. And let's be balanced in it. Let's be mature. Let's be truly honorary in it. That's why we've been blessed. We just need to understand the sacred systems behind it. And there is light, wisdoms, intelligences. Let's get these things moving, dear lighted ones. There's nothing we can't do. We will be the planet of all planets. And we will arise in our light because we get it. We get that we're multidimensional. And we do want to rise. And we want to see new children come back to this planet. We will heal these things. Say 3 times, dear lighted ones. We are part of the multiverse, and we are one with the all, and the all is one. We are part of the multiverse. We are part of the all, and the all is one. We are part of the multiverse, and we are part of one, and the all is one. And in this, Source and I, and Spirit and I are one. Source and I, and Spirit and I, and all is one. Source and I, and Spirit and I, and all is one. You're harmonized, it's all one. And have Source take you through the emotions that you need to go through to heal. And you can book an appointment with me anytime you like. Any consultation, any vocational alignment session, any activation, anything class, anything lecture, anything webinars. I'm here, dear lighted ones. Call me. Okay, we have a few minutes to take any federations, channelings, or questions. We do have to talk about that new topic we talked about yesterday, about the biocosm. The biocosm was about that botany and about learning how to capture light, because our God codes are directly related to the light that we are able to transmute. That's why we want to talk about it. We wanted to talk about that. Any questions that you'd like to talk about, dear lighted ones? And just ground into the soils. I want you to activate your clairs, right? Your clairaudience sentience. Clairalience. Pardon me. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Is there anybody that wants to send me a telepathic message or ask a question? Hello, everybody. Ground. So it's paypal.me/Joanna L. Ross to book a session, just to donate. That would be wonderful. I'd love a donation. I have lots of material to get. Yes, the mother and I are connected, very much so. The mother has a message. Would you like to come through with a message, Mother? Yes, we are holding space. And I'm very busy within the universe and all of the aspects of life within the universe, understanding and assisting in the teaching and the understanding of balance and the divine feminine energies, and how they are so pivotal within your versions and your areas of exploration. For you, none of you have come here to be one version of self. You're honoring your aspects of sensitivity and compassion and understanding true life and the honor of life. And there is no truer exploration of this through than the Divine Feminine and how we can appreciate life of all vastness and all arenas and diversities and colors. And this is what the Divine Feminine and all of her children, she just loves all of them. And they all offer something unique and different. And she wants to inspire each and every one of them to seek within them the fullness of their vibrational emotive bodies and their expressions and their co-creations. For they are such beautiful children when they're expressing themselves so delightfully. Isn't that a joy? Isn't that Divine Feminine when we take joy in our co-creations and seeing children and we see our human collective and we see our neighbors so happy to create? Isn't that joyful, dear lighted ones? Sometimes you've been so stuffy behind your businesses and your walls, and you forget to have the joy of life. Isn't that why you're here? Why do you have children? Children show you, if not the only thing they show you, is how to enjoy life until it's conformed out of them. Don't they show you just how to be happy and run with abandon? How to just have the best fun with a crayon box and paper? Don't children show you the joy of life, dear lighted ones? Isn't that why you had them? To remind you of how lucky you are to be here and just play and organize your lives in play and be joyful in play and happy in play and glad in play and fulfilled in play and aligned in play and loving in play and expansive in play and intelligent in play? Perhaps, dear lighted ones, children teach you more than you're allowing them to come forward in. But you do have Divine Feminine energies within you, and she will show you in every way. Perhaps you stop being so stuffy, and perhaps you play. Because every great idea comes from play. When you're forcing ideas, it's not your highest idea. But when you play and allow the natural flow and the natural order of Source Creator, and you leave enough room for the equation of Source and the Father and I to get in there, that's when miracles happen. Because you're saying, these aren't such big things, and whatever will happen. For I trust in God, I trust in Source. And we're just going to let Father and the Mother do as they wish, and we're just going to put our best feet forward, and whatever shall happen, shall happen. And if you see life in a more playful way, and you surrender a little bit more, and you just allow natural order to flow, you're not going to have so many stresses and anxieties against yourself to be a certain way and to accomplish certain things, because you're not here to accomplish this, and this. You're also here to be in love with playing again. This is what your planet needs. When you forget to play, you then get very sick, and you get detached. And you get feeling as if you're not loved and accepted and appreciated and valued and honored and worthy of who you are as the sacred child of the Mother and the Father. And we know each and every one of you. And each and every one of you are here for a very unique reason. You've chosen to be here at a very special time to bring forward your most empowered, passionate experience. And as the Mother and the Father, we love to see you play. We love to see you take joy in the planet again and come up with new ideas and play with one another happily again, balanced in fairness, and work things out and put things on the table and discuss them with honor and collaboration of oneness and unity. For when you have those moments where things can be taken away just like that, your health or your money or your life, you will always be asked and you will always come back to the same answer and resolution. What you thought was important really wasn't. And do you want to wait till that happens? Or can you live joyfully now in what the children show you every day and what your emotions are showing you every day? That you must balance them and you must go within and heal and love and give yourselves what you wish that you were given. But you can start now. the Divine Mother in each and every one of us, is one to say, let's just put things aside for a minute and let's just heal and have a good stew and have a good dinner and have a good meal. And let's rub each other's feet and rub each other's shoulders and find each other's way back to each other again. That we care about each other and we love each other. And this is a place that is like no other in the galaxy. And if we ruin this place, then my goodness, it's not why we've come here, dear lighted ones. We've come here for greater rules and playing and co-creating and bringing balance to what has been so out of balance, just through misguided beliefs. We love you, dear lighted ones. The stage is all set for each and every one of you. Your daily lives are. Be proud of who you are, dear lighted ones. You're here in a new time and a new beginning. We have such great encouragement of all of you. The Father and I are within you always. You are very loved. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Mother. I love you, Holy Mother. Thank you, Holy Mother. Thank you, Holy Mother. I love you, Holy Mother. That was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Holy Mother. You're welcome. Somebody said thank you. You're welcome. So, dear lighted ones, where did my coat go? Thank you for having me. PayPal.me/Joanna L. Ross. Any lectures, any collaborations, just please get in touch with me. Donations would be grateful. I said I've got a lot of things I got to take care of. It's kind of a mess. We'll take care of it. And thank you to everybody for being on my journey and for helping me learn and be more of who I am. I love each and every one of you. I got time for one quick question. One quick question. There's not a lot of room in this space. It's a really tiny pod. It's like I'm in a little fishbowl. Everybody's watching. Hi. Any questions before I go? I'm sending love to all of my beautiful tribe. One question. Yes, hypnotherapy is great. Yeah. Michael Newton. I think read his books. He's a great author. I love reading his books. He's one of the originals of regression therapy, hypnosis therapy. He's really good. He's got people that work for him that have done his practicum. Yeah, so I'd suggest going through him. He's done a lot of study. He's got a lot of research behind him, right? So do whatever you're guided to, that you're feel inclined to, right? That's why you have intuition. So your teams are going to guide you, because maybe that might be something you're going to go into and be a part of, right? So just trust your intuition, trust what you're guided to. That's what your intuition is for. There's so many things we're going to be practicing. We're going to be setting free and healing. There's going to be so many things we're going to be opening up. We're going to need it all. Regression therapy is very, very powerful. Yeah, done the right way, and have Source Creator in on the deal, right? Right? Just bring Source Creator in on everything. Hi. There's my coat. Okay, well, dear lighted ones, any donations or any collaborations, just get in touch with me. Love, love, love you. And we'll talk to you soon. Okay? Sending love and light and namaste to everybody. We love you. Bye. Happy New Year.